time being made aware of the issue of fluoride, because there's no university in Ireland that actually teaches any undergraduate about the toxicological impacts of fluoride.
Correct.
So they're completely unaware of it. But when I read from the European Commission's own websites, and more particularly the report by the National Academy of Sciences in the United States in 2006, raising serious questions about the potential health implications of fluoride and highlighting the risk to children, I was going, why aren't parents in Ireland advised about this? And then I found out that in the United States, parents are advised not to use tap water to make formula milk. They're advised in Canada not to do it. And then, remarkably, I found that the Food Safety Authority in Ireland originally in 2002 recommended that mothers and parents should be advised not to use fluoridated tap water for formula milk, to make formula milk. And then they changed their recommendation to, instead of advising them not to use tap water, to recommend that all mothers should breastfeed.
Okay. Sarah Hart again from Kilkenny. Sarah, thanks for your input today. Has been on to us to say that she was unaware of this until last Friday, until she heard Aisling speak on this radio station. And as a result, today she has sent a note to the school suggesting that somebody listen to this today. Thank you, Sarah, for that. She must have obviously picked up on that from the station to say that we were carrying this segment today. And thank you, Sarah. She said that she had sent us a note to the school to suggest that somebody from the school listen in at least, and she'd be most pleased if the school in turn would send a little note home with all the kids to advise their parents. It's a degree of ignorance that the majority of people in this country, as I've stated, and this is my opinion, actually. I'm making my own opinion right here. I am of the opinion that it's absolute ignorance because we're not being given the information, and we are being over-medicated unnecessarily, okay, and possibly illegally, okay, and that's my opinion right there, not necessarily the opinion of Declan Waugh or anybody else that we're going to speak on this today, but that's definitely categorically my opinion right there, Declan.
But Alan, in response to that as well, like, you wouldn't be alone with that opinion. We've had 2 professors of public health. So if you're a professor of public health, you should know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
We've had 2 professors of public health publish in the last month in 2 different countries papers in peer-reviewed journals saying that fluoridation of drinking water supplies is mandatory medication of the population and that it's illegal.
And illegality would come into that. Okay.
Yeah.
Declan, I'm going to leave you go on that because we have a few more people to speak to on this subject. And listen, thank you so much indeed for taking time out again. Oh, just before I let you go, actually, Declan, Fiona Whelan, hi Fiona. Fiona's in Dunleary in Dublin today. Wants to know, can she contact you in your as you are a scientist to send water sampling to you, or where could she send samples of her tap water? By the way, if you are stateside, when we say tap over here, it's faucet. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. It's water from the faucet. Okay, just in case you are stateside today. Sorry, Declan.
Well, I'd recommend anybody. My report is a 350-page report, and there's a summary of it on my website as well. So I put it up on my website for people to download freely, and I've asked them to circulate it. I've had over 10,000 downloads of the report in the last few months, and I don't know how many thousands of people have circulated it to colleagues of theirs. So if they go to www.enviro.ie and go into risk management or latest news, they'll find the report there. Please read it and please circulate it. It's got some shocking information in it.
I look forward to reading. I didn't actually read that report myself, but I tell you I will after we're done speaking about it as well. Okay, so that website again is www.enviro.ie. I suggest everybody go and have a peek at that. Don't do so as yet. We have more interesting people to speak with. Declan, thank you so much indeed for taking time out to speak with us today. And there's no doubt we'll be coming back to you again with your kind permission and to spread the word on this. Everybody needs to be made aware of what's going on in our drinking water or with our drinking water in this beautiful country of ours. Again, Declan, thank you so much indeed for taking time out to speak with us today.
Thank you. Bye.
God bless. Bye-bye. There you got a second more for you. Okay, a scientist, an environmentalist scientist. Okay, you've just heard what he's had to say. More on the way. Stay right where you are. Absolutely inundated with texts and emails and calls to the station about the topic that we're on today, fluoridation of Irish drinking water straight from the tap. The government are killing us slowly. And again, that is my opinion, and I think it only fair. I have studied this at great length, not as much as I'm going to, I hasten to add, and I know this topic isn't going to go away. We're certainly not going to drop it anyway for a hell of a long time. And somebody wanted to know, that lady, what's this? Thanks, Karen. By the way, Karen is our broadcast assistant today, right here on First Online Radio. It was a Sarah Hartigan in Kilkenny that said that she was going to put a school note in her daughter's school bag going to school today. Okay, to tell one of the teachers, or at least ask one of the teachers to listen in today, and more importantly, get a note out to all the little kids. Home school bag thingy. You know what I'm talking about. Well, there you go. We had Declan Waugh, and you heard what he had to say. And let's go to another part of Ireland and say hello to Steve Kerr. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Alan, hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing very fine, sir. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks. I'm shining in Mayo for a change.
Presumption is that you did hear Declan Waugh speak a few minutes ago.
I did, surely, yeah.
Horrific would be a word that comes to mind right there. A very factual man, indeed a scientist, therefore he would know exactly what he's talking about. It was yourself that brought this to my attention a short time ago, and I know that you've been doing Trojan work, and I know also that it's up on YouTube. This is no state secret, by the way, that I'm about to divulge here. Okay, a short time ago, Stephen, personally, you contacted, you met the Taoiseach face to face in a hotel. And you were the only individual that evening asked to leave, and all you asked was one simple question. And the question you asked is, "May I ask you a question?" And you were removed by a member of An Garda Síochána, we believe.
That's correct.
By the way, you can find this on YouTube. We'll direct you to it later. Actually, Stephen, where exactly would we find that on YouTube?
Well, what I'll actually do, Alan, it might be the easiest thing. Aisling Fitzgibbon, who you had on Friday, and who's going to speak to you again in a couple of minutes. She has a Facebook page called The Girl Against Fluoride, and she's going to be talking about that campaign. So what I'll probably do, it might make it easier for everyone. I'll just put up all the links to my videos up on her Facebook page later on, so everything's in the one place.
And will you make sure as well, I don't know if I mentioned this to Ashley, I'll remind her actually when she's speaking with me shortly, to make sure that she befriends the radio station, sends us an addy, I think they call it, on Facebook, so we can keep people up to speed and date on what's going on with the campaign, etc. Steve, you've been campaigning for this for quite some time now.
Yeah, I mean, I got interested in it about 18 months ago, I suppose. Somebody brought it to my attention. I didn't really think it was much of a big deal, but it really doesn't take an awful lot of research to find out it is a big deal. And it's something between a massive conspiracy and something that doesn't make any sense. Whatever way you look at it, this doesn't add up.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, like, we get contacted at this radio station by all sorts of people and all sorts of nutters and all sorts of all sorts of walks of life. And I don't know how you and I got into contact with each other. No doubt it was on this subject right here. And I thought to myself, okay, here we go, another fucking head case. And next thing I sat down one evening, had a quiet minute to myself, and I sat down and I started looking around this subject, and I was horrified, absolutely horrified. And I thought, hold on a second, this guy's got a serious point to make here. We need to communicate with this guy, and let's get everybody else to know what's going on. You know, it's absolutely scary. It's just down, as I stated to Declan Waugh a short time ago. It is absolutely down to our ignorance, because we don't know. For years and years and years, we've been told, "All right, look, this stuff is good for you. Drink that. You'll have lovely teeth. Your mental health might be shagged, but your teeth, at least you know when you're in the mental institution, your teeth will be fucking gorgeous." That's the kind of, that's the way I'm coming from it anyway, Steve, to be totally honest with you. I'm very annoyed. Yeah. I'm very annoyed. I really am. I mean, the government yesterday in the Irish Republic flip-flopped on the whole health issue, okay, because a lot of people that have disabilities took it upon themselves to protest outside Dáil Éireann, and the Minister for Health flip-flopped. When he saw all these people outside the Dáil, the Irish Parliament, if you will, he decided, oops, we can't be doing that now. We'll change our mind on that one. But yet, he's continuing to poison those very people that were outside those gates yesterday. He's killing them as well as you and I and kids. I mean, like, this is not safe. This needs to stop. Or am I just having a rant here?
It absolutely needs to stop. I mean, I suppose the objections to water fluoridation started immediately in 1964 with a court case that was brought in, and it's never really. There's always been objection to it, but the problem is the media have really done us no favours whatsoever. Like, as I told you, I've only been involved about 18 months, and just to give you an example, I remember contacting the state broadcaster here, a program called Liveline, Every day I rang for over a month, and I wanted to highlight this. Now, I was categorically told by the editor or by the series producer of that show that there was no issue with fluoridation in Ireland, and it wasn't something they're going to cover. Now, I mean, this is the state broadcaster whose one of their mission statements is to inform the Irish public by delivering the best comprehensive independent news service possible. So they told me there was no issue with it. And then, I mean, every time we contact our local politicians or the government or anyone else, all we get back from them is the same reply basically, and they refer us on to the Irish expert body on fluoride and health, who Declan has made reference to previously there. And what they say in turn is that the fluoride at the optimal level does not cause any ill effects and continues to be safe and effective in protecting the oral health of all age groups.
How on earth?
That's all we get, okay?
Steve, how on earth can they make statements like that? I mean, like, come on, people. It's there. Go to Google. Well, just put it in. It's there. We're not making this up. It's there.
Yeah, let me throw a little bit more light just on this, because I think this is important. That expert body in fluoride and health, they were set up in April 2004, okay? Now, I'm not going to list the names. There's 17 individuals on that. I just want to list some of the industries that they're in, okay? So there's 4 or 5 in dentistry. There's some people from management from the Department of Health and Children. There's someone from the Health Board. There's someone from Environmental Health. There's one biochemist, someone from Legal and Ethics, believe it or not. And there's also a ministerial nominee, which I think is interesting enough, just a ministerial nominee. But there are experts, okay, in Ireland. Now, they were set up in 2004, and what they were doing, their job was to basically implement the recommendations highlighted in the Fluoridation Forum of 2002, okay? Now, the main recommendation of that was that the fluoridation policy of piped public water supplies should continue as a public health measure. Now, there are some other experts I'd like to compare our experts with, and these are some world experts. So there's a group of about 12 individuals, and I'm not going to give their names either, but let me just mention a couple of their statistics, basically. We're talking about a professor of chemistry at St. Lawrence University in New York.
Okay.
We're talking about a senior lecturer at the Department of Human Anatomy and Cell Biology, University of Liverpool. We're talking about head of preventative dentistry, University of Toronto, vice president of Japanese Society for Fluoride Research. I can go on there, but these are the top guys who have researched this from all over the world. And let me tell you what they say about our fluoridation forum in 2002.
Please do.
They say that, in our view, the report fails to provide a proper scientific review of the many health concerns raised about the practice of water fluoridation in Ireland and elsewhere. Out of a total of 295 pages, only 17 pages are devoted to health issues other than dental fluorosis. Of these, a heavy reliance is placed on reviewing other reviews, some of which are dated. Incredibly, for a study which took nearly 2 years, only 2 pages are devoted to independent analysis of specific health studies. And there's two very more important bits that they say about our Irish Fluoridation Forum. They say that the forum failed to carefully weigh up all the evidence, and as scientists familiar with the literature on this matter, we can only conclude that the aim of the authors of this report was not to study the evidence, but to find ways around it. The report's primary conclusion that there are no adverse health effects is not defendable, and in our view is blatantly false. And one very last important bit there, Alan, they also say that the most logical conclusion is that the majority of the panel members who worked in some capacity for the Irish government or received the research funding from the same were persuaded to produce a report in support of this long-standing government policy rather than freely and objectively analysing the information which was made directly available to them.
We have contacted a couple of politicians today, and typical, I suppose. They had no comment and were unavailable to come on speak on this subject through the course of this afternoon. Repeatedly called several politicians. However, we're not going to close the door on you, therefore we're not going to name you, but we're not going to drop this subject, and we will be calling on you again soon. In fact, we're going to send a journalist around to your clinics and to where you live, and we will get a comment out of you one way or another, even if it is no comment. Okay, so there you go. So be prepared. We're coming.